So, my only real objection to this tripod all along has been the fact that no matter how you set the legs, it can only go just so low. When you set the legs all the way flat, well, now you have to extend this up, and you're still all the way up here. It's important to note too that this won't void your warranty because you're not modifying any part of this tripod. I originally had thought about ordering a replacement tube and trimming this one right about here. That would have been a great solution to the problem, except that I can't find any place to actually order one of these tubes, and on eBay the tripods are about $25 with $20 shipping, so I could just buy a new one for that on Amazon. So, off to the workbench. Alright, so I found a solution. This cheap old broom has been laying around my carport forever. It's almost the right diameter. If we add some gaffer tape to it, it should work. So we're gonna use my totally crappy, bent, ancient hacksaw and try and cut a piece off. So, let's see what we can do with this. Let's take a file and clean out these sharp edges. Yeah, it should be good. So basically you're gonna need a 1/4 inch 20 thread bolt that's approximately 2.5 inches long. We have a 2.5 inch piece of cheap broom handle from Dollar General or wherever you buy really cheap stuff. 4 washers that fit. They don't have to fit great as long as they fit it. And a larger one to go on the very top of the outside, hopefully. I have not put this together before because once I put it together I won't be able to take it apart. And obviously a couple of pairs of pliers or something similar so that you can tighten the bolts. So I'm going to take your bolt, drop one of the washers all the way down, take a nut. They don't have to be like these with the flange on them or the flare. I like them with the flare because I feel like they hold better. I don't know if they do, but we're going to tighten this down. You're going to want to try and you just need to eyeball it. It doesn't have to be perfect. Make sure when you tighten it that the bolt's pretty well centered on the washer if the washer's too big, which in this case my washers are too big. So get that good and tight. Then we're going to take the next one. If you're using them with the flare, go ahead and put the flare facing up. Bring it about halfway down the screw shaft. Drop another washer on it. Another nut. If it has a flare, make the flare face the last one. Once again, you're going to want to try and center that as close as you can. Tighten it. And then we're going to take another nut, come down the top to however far out you're going to want your threads to stick. This thing is going to fit perfectly inside here. Actually, when I JB weld it, I'm going to put this one on, hopefully, and get this to weld in place. I'm not sure if that's going to work. We'll find out. If not, I'll use this one. But it is a good snug fit, and the JB Weld's going to make it stay put really well, I think. I forgot, you're going to want some painter's tape, gaffer tape, masking tape. Any of those will work fine. Really, for this purpose, we're simply going to cover this top thread really well, because we don't want any epoxy or JB Weld on those threads. Haven't used this in forever. Equal parts. Probably should not have stuck that in there with the activator on it, but oh well. Too late now. I don't know if that's equal parts or not, but let's hope it is. So we need to quickly mix this stuff up real good. And just a heads up, this stuff stinks something awful. I'm gonna put it on here. I just put more of it in places I don't really need it, like an idiot, but just make sure you get it all around the washer and the nuts. You don't want the nuts turning later. Gotta work with it relatively quickly because it sets up pretty fast. I hope I don't screw this up, because this is the only bolt I have that's long enough. Wouldn't that be something, huh? And we're gonna, oops, almost forgot that last washer on the top. Squish it on down in there. Get some goop around its edges. Probably don't need a whole lot, but alright. So now we're going to just fit that in there. Oh crap. Pull that up to the top. Pack some JB Weld in around the base of that. I got a good coating of it in there. Make sure you don't have any on the outside. So we're going to retape our threads since that came off. It's going to be a lot harder to do now. Alright. Gotta keep those threads protected before this weld sets up. Let's pack it all in around the top here. Might not have made enough. And this JB Weld stuff gets kind of hot too while it's setting. That's normal, don't freak out. Put that on. Uh-oh. Red alert, it's pushing out. And I got stuff on the threads. Not good. using this nut to pull it up and also to try and clean the JB Weld off the threads. Make sure it's still going to thread. Alright, I hope I don't regret this, but I'm going to put this nut on here and use it to hold this all tight and in place. Alright, we will come back and have a look at this in about 4 hours. Alright, we have waited 4 hours. This stuff is fully set up. It's ugly, but it should be functional. Sure have already noticed and be saying, wait a minute, it doesn't fit, it's too small. Well, it is a little bit too small, but we can fix that. Definitely going to be loose in there. So, simple, ultra cheap solution. Tape. Painter's tape, gaffer's tape, masking tape. I seriously recommend against using electrical tape or duct tape because they will get gooey and make a horrible mess. You're going to need several layers of tape. And just keep adding layers until when you crank this down, it doesn't pull anymore. It still needs a little bit more. So because of overlapping, I've ended up with kind of a fat spot in the middle. Just gonna trim my tape. For a better fit. Just trimming off the little bit of excess there, just for a cleaner look. And that should be good to go. Oh yeah, that's good and solid. The 3/8 to 1/4 inch adapter, since we're using a 1/4 inch bolt. Your tripod should have come with one, or your head. And there it is. One more thing you could do to finish it off a little nicer, something I like to do anytime I'm making a mount for a tripod head or my camera to go on. I seem to get better results if I use some kind of adhesive sealant strips like these. It came with a window air conditioner on the surface. So just stick that on there. Trim those extra little pieces off. There, just a little bit of a slightly sticky cushioning. Keep it from back turning once you've got it on and tightened down. It's pretty simple. It's not the prettiest thing in the world, but functionality Wins over beauty every time in my book. Let's see. Maybe we can get some pictures of this tiny little flower here. Give you an idea how big it is.